Hello and welcome to today's tutorial. Have fun. The foundation for this design is a magic ring, which is going to be used all throughout this process. So you're going to make a magic ring, and once that is complete, inside the magic ring you're going to start by making 8 chains attached to the magic ring. So you just insert your hook through the ring, pull the yarn through, and make 8 chains. Try as much as possible to not make your work too tight. Try and make it a bit loose because we're going to be working on the back of the chain. We're going to be starting with the back of the chain. So that is the back of the chain. This like those mountain hips things at the back, that's where we're going to be inserting our hook. So insert your hook into the first space. Do not pull the yarn through. Insert your hook into the second space, pull the yarn through. You have a loop on your hook. Insert the hook into the next space up until you get to the end of the chains, forming the loops on your hook. Then next step will be yarning over and pulling through. So far I have around 8 loops on my hook. That represents the 8 chains that I made. And finally we're going to insert our hook through the magic ring, pull the yarn through to make it 9 loops around our hook. The next step is going to be yarning over and pulling yarn through two of the loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. 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 Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and finally finish off with yarning over and pulling through the last 2 loops. That is the first round of this pattern. Feel free to go back as much as possible to get it right. Now for the second round, since we want to create a cascading on the butterfly petal, for the first part we're not going to chain 1 to turn or anything. You're just going to insert your hook into the space behind there and make a slip stitch, because we are going to be doing a reduction on the first part for this petal or this butterfly wing, and proceed to just insert your hook into the next chain spaces while you have the hoops around your hook. Do not finish them off into single crochets, because this is a Tunisian crochet pattern. So we're just going to be inserting your hook and pulling the yarn through. So for this round, you'll notice for the first round we had 8. For this round we have 7 on our hook, and when we insert it into the magic ring, now we have 8. So repeat the process of yarn over, pull yarn through 2 loops, yarn over, pull 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 through 2 loops, and our second row is done. Once you get this right, it's not going to be so hectic once you get the foundation right. And remember, do not chain 1 or turn your work, anything like that. Remember, we're doing a reduction in the first part. So insert your hook into the first chain space and make a slip stitch. Then insert your hook and pull the yarn through. Have a loop on your hook. Do that for the second space. Do the same for the third space. Insert your hook, pull the yarn through. Next space, insert your hook, pull the yarn through. Next space, insert your hook, pull the yarn through. Next space, that is into the magic ring. Insert your hook and pull the yarn through, and do the yarn over pull through 2 loops up until you finish the 3rd round. So you can start with 10, you can start with 8. As you continue going downwards, you can start with 7, depending on how big of a wing you want to achieve, or the size of yarn you're using. They all are play a role in how your petal is going to be designed. So if you know how a butterfly looks like, then you definitely know, like, this is the design I want to achieve. So we're going into our 4th row, where, remember, do not chain your work or turn. Just simply proceed making the loops on your hook. Remember to reduce on the first part. So this is just the pattern for the first side of the wing. This is the first wing. A butterfly has 4 wings, 2 on every side. So this is the first wing. So for the right side, we're going to do 1 big wing and another small wing. Then for the left side, we're going to be doing the small wing and the big wing as well. So this is just one side of the butterfly wing. And the pattern does not necessarily apply all through, because they have different sizing and a different pattern for each. Once you are satisfied with the size of the wing you have achieved, I have only done 4 rows. You can do 5 or 6. Once you're satisfied, you're just going to fasten it off, finish it up, while with slip stitches in each and every space. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and make a slip stitch. That is the 2nd slip stitch. Make a 3rd slip stitch, 4th slip stitch, and insert your hook into the magic ring, and also do a slip stitch to just fasten off and close up that side of the wing. You can see it has come out in a curved, beautiful manner. The butterfly is now starting to come out nicely. So we're going to begin on the next wing. We're going to make this a bit smaller. So for the big wing, we started with 8. For this small one, we're just going to be doing 4 chains. So that is 4 chains in the same magic ring. You do not have to start another magic ring. So once you have done your chain of 4, we're going to turn that chain, and remember, we're working with the back of the chain. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. Don't complete that single crochet. Going to the next space, yarn over, pull through. You have 4 loops on your hook. Into the next space, yarn over, pull through. You will now have 4 loops on your hook, and into the magic ring, yarn over, pull through, and you will have 5 loops on your hook. So we're making this shorter, hence that's why we're using fewer number. So the same pattern applies. This, you have to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops until you get to the end. For this smaller petal, we're not going to do a decrease. I prefer not to, but if you would like to do a decrease for it as well, you can. Remember to just start with a slip stitch and then proceed lower. But for me, I just choose to maintain the 4 spaces all through, and I do about 3 to 4 rows of it to make it just smaller. But you can choose to do a decrease. You can start from 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, whatever way pleases you, whatever design you're trying to achieve, whatever type of butterfly you want to come out with. You can also use different colors. Just play around with it. So I have done the 1st, 2nd, and this is the 3rd row of the 2nd butterfly wing, the smaller one. And remember to always just finish up with a slip stitch all through to the end to just give your work a nice finish, and just it highlights the shape, it highlights the wing you just came up with. So I'm going to just pull them closer, and you can see that's one half of the butterfly is ready. It's starting to look so pretty. So that is the Tunisian pattern for a butterfly. Because we're going round the magic ring, so we're just going to be doing one big wing, a small one, and then another small one, and finally finish up with a big one. So our next step would be making another small wing, which involves you starting with a chain of 4. So we're just going to be repeating the step that we just did. I did 4 rows of just the 4, finished up with the slip stitch to achieve the 2 small wings. So now we're moving to the final wing, which is another big wing, and we're going to be working vice versa for this part. We have done this part, we have done this part, and we have done this part. So now we are to finalize on this other petal. So we're going to start with a chain of 5. Once you've done that, do single crochets on that chain, and after that, for the next row, we're going to do an increase to have 6, then do another increase until we have 8 to ensure that we achieve the same design. So this is what we're finally working on. Remember to start with the lowest. If you started with 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, for this other side, start with 6. Otherwise, your wings are not going to be looking identical. Now do a chain of 5, turn your work, and the same way we were doing, you insert your hook, pull the yarn through, have the loop on your hook. Go into the next space, insert your hook, pull the yarn through, and have the loop on your hook. By the end, you should be having 6 loops on your hook. That is including the one done inside the magic ring. We have been working inside the magic ring from the start, and that's what we're just doing up to the end right now. So that is 6 loops on my hook. I started with a chain of 5 and I have 6 loops on my hook. Now yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops until you finish to the end. And once you get to the end, we're going to do a chain 1 for an increase, because remember the next row we're supposed to have 6. So we're going to do a chain 1 for the increase, and back behind the chain we're going to insert our hook, pull the yarn through, and have a loop on our hook. Do the same all the way until you get to the magic ring. Second row done. Now remember to chain 1 at the end of this row. 5, 6, now we're going to go at 7. Remember, for the other wing we did a decrease, so for this other side it's the opposite. Instead of a decrease, we're just going to do an increase, and an increase for this side is doing an extra chain. So do a chain and also finish up the row, and once you get done with this row, remember to do a chain at the end. Now for this for the fourth row, we're going to chain 1 so that we can have 8 loops on our hook, and that is going to just be the same pattern: inserting your hook, pulling the loop, keeping the loop on the hook up until you get to the magic ring. So we're going to finish off this butterfly wing by just doing slip stitch at the top on the final part. That is just a completion. Once you're done, just pull the magic ring so that it can close off, and that is your butterfly all done. So you can go ahead and put your earring hooks on. You can attach them to whatever project it is you wanted to do. So for the next step, we're going to be using the wire. If you shaped your wire into a circular, triangular, whatever shape you prefer, you can go ahead and attach the butterfly, or I prefer doing another single crochet around the metallic wire, depending on the colors I want to interchange, the different colors I want to use. So for this is just plain orange color, so I'm just going to be doing single crochets around the loop. It's very simple. If you find the pre-shaped wire, it makes work easy for you, but if you have to take the wire and shape it, then that means you have to do the shaping, ensure it's the circular you want, it's the rectangle, it's triangular. I'm aware that you can find this wires already pre-shaped, saves you a lot of work. So I'm just working single crochets, basic loop earring lingo. That's just single crochets around the loop, and I'm going to take the butterfly together with all the necessary earring accessories and just add them, the hooks, the jump ring, just using it to attach the earring.